Hello everyone, before I get started I ask that if you find yourself liking this video that you drop a like as it greatly helps my channel. Now on to the video. So gameplay for Star Wars Battlefront II EA is starting to come out, and I won't lie, it looks pretty good. Now, I was a very staunch critic of the first Star Wars Battlefront made by EA, as a lot of people were and should be, because the game was just simply lacking content. It was a very weak offering of a game, made even worse when a bunch of DLC came out after the fact, which added things that honestly should have been there from the start. But one thing a lot of people are saying, that I happen to agree with, is that it looks like Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a giant apology for all the shit that happened with the first game. Now moving on to the actual gameplay itself, I am very impressed so far with what I am seeing. Part of what makes me so excited here is that we are seeing real, actual gameplay, not the doctored, heavily scripted crap we saw in the trailers for the first game, which I really respect, because now that I think about it, all we ever really saw of the first game, at least before the open beta, was heavily doctored and scripted events happening. It wasn't real. Here, we still have the heavily scripted gameplay trailer, but other YouTube channels are posting live videos of in-game gameplay. And the best part is, it's not scripted. It's just them playing the game, and it shifts in perspective from time to different people playing, as you will see here in this video. Now, I have tremendous respect for that they're actually willing to show us real gameplay. It's not just a hype machine making a trailer, it's real YouTubers and streamers playing the game. Everything that they are doing seems to be completely based off of the complaints that people had of the first game. There are no more pickups, no more arcade tokens laying out on the map. Any 10-year-old kid can play Luke Skywalker if he just runs up and picks up a coin. Instead, ships and heroes are earned based on how well you play the game. We are going to all three Star Wars eras now. There are classes in the game now. I could go on and on. They're at the very least making a real effort to make a sequel to the original line of Battlefront games. And that's great, because I feel like they are really trying, which is more than I can say for the last game. I recommend you go watch the gameplay trailer and find live in-game gameplay, because I think there are a lot of things there which you should find really exciting. I think there's a lot of things that should make you happy to play the game. But one thing that stood out to me was the yellow ship. I don't know what it's called, the one Anakin flies in episode 1. It's on the Naboo map, and it stood out to me because it shows that they went the extra effort of putting map-based vehicles into the game, just like how, the snow speeders are on Hoth only. In short, I'm seeing a lot of effort here, and I'm cautiously optimistic. Now, of course, there are some things that I find a little worrisome. They're not huge gripes, but they're just, gripes. And this is one thing that other people are noticing as well. There seems to be a lot of cross-era play in the multiplayer, particularly with the heroes, and what I mean by that is that people are noticing that Darth Maul from Episode 1 and Boba Fett from Episode 6 are charging together on the Naboo map and fighting Rey from Episode 7. Now, that is awesome, and some people don't find a problem with that. And the reason they give most of the time for them not having a problem is it's so people can play their favorite hero on whatever map they want, which is okay. I understand that. Cross-era play, it's alright, I guess. It gets a little muddled, and it's not very canon at all, and I guess it's not meant to be canon. I sort of enjoyed when it was at least a little bit more canon. I know people are saying the games were never, multiplayer was never canon, but it was sort of. You had the same heroes and villains from the same era fighting off against each other. So, the reason of it's so people can play their favorite hero on whatever map they want, that's a fine reason. However, I don't think that's the real reason they are doing it. Because I think the way it should be is that you have all the villains present in the first era, like Jango Fett, Count Dooku, Darth Maul, maybe even Palpatine, facing off against the first era heroes like Anakin, Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Mace Windu. In a perfect world, they would have all of those characters. Hell, at least more than just Darth Maul and Yoda. And I guess Palpatine, which two of those are first and second era heroes, so I don't really know if they count. So to make up for the fact that there's no Anakin, or Obi-Wan, or Mace Windu, or Jango Fett, or Count Dooku, which were all in the first Battlefront 2, I remind you, they're going to let you play the heroes that they made for the other eras in the first era, so, they don't have to make more heroes. So it makes sense to me. I am, however, sad about that, and my reason for going into such detail about this is that I feel that that might be the general sense that the game gives off. Because in the original Star Wars Battlefront 2, one half of the game was the first era, and the other half was the second era. So you had these two big, meaty chunks of the two eras. But with Star Wars Battlefront II EA, with the addition of the third Star Wars era, the eras are now split into thirds. So you are probably going to get the feeling that as a complete game, Star Wars Battlefront II EA has a decent amount of content, but in terms of the content per era, I feel like each era will feel spread too far thin, just so they can say that they have each era in the game. So let me know how you guys feel about that. I know me personally, I would rather have 2 hunks of content from the first and second eras, rather than having all eras and having each era be smaller. So my question to you guys is this: would you prefer they not have all eras, thus having more content per the eras they do have, or do you like it the way it is, or the way it looks like it's going to be, where you can play all eras but content per era is significantly less? I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Now, the last thing I want to talk about here has less to do with the game itself and more to do with the consumer reaction to the game. So far, the reaction that people have been having to SWBF2 EA is completely the right one. The top comments on most, if not all of the videos that have Battlefront 2 in them are along the lines of, "Don't pre-order this game, wait for it to come out." So there are a lot of people that are very skeptical of this game, as they should be, and they are holding EA's feet to the fire. They are not bowing down and surrendering themselves this time around by pre-ordering the game at the first scripted gameplay trailer, which is great news. However, I hope this newfound fire in fans doesn't go to the other extreme, where instead of being fanboy lapdogs that pre-order the game instantly, they jump to vicious, hate-filled critics that won't address anything good the game does, no matter how hard it tries to appease them. I fear Star Wars Battlefront II EA may suffer the same fate of Watch Dogs 2 and Titanfall 2, and even that Evolve free update thing that tried to happen, where while they managed to be pretty good games appeasing what many fans wanted, their reputation and their sales were unable to achieve success, as the first installment in their franchises had burned so much of the fan base by overhyping and severely underdelivering to the fans. In short, I hope that if Star Wars Battlefront 2 EA is a good game, that it is treated as such. I believe in redemption and making up for the sins of the franchise's past, and I hope that other people can do that too. Let me know what you guys think about all this. Leave your thoughts down below. Again, if you liked this video, please drop a like down below. It really helps me. Also subscribe for more videos and let me know what I should talk about next. I'm Sir Nick, and I'll see you next time.